Hey everyone, I'm Reagan Weiss along with
Joey Deeb, co-founders
of The Hub.
I'd just like to start off by prefacing this by saying it's not just us. It's all of our core members of this group that made this. We have a lot of people that have worked hard, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Can't mention all of them because there's so many, but we love you all.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for every single one of you, and you know who you are, to be involved with this. And a lot of people are asking, why? Why The Hub? Let me tell you why The Hub. The Hub is a place that not just business owners are going to collaborate. It's where our community members are going to collaborate, where ideas are bounced off of one another. We just want to help people. We want to be there. We want to unify not just our businesses, but we want to unify our community. We don't want to hear about the negativity. We don't want to hear. There are so many other places out there that you can hear about the negativity in our community, and this will not be the place.
Our group can be a basis for so many different resources for so many different trades and industries. It's not just isolated to one specific trade or construction or cleaning or any of that. Everybody can come to the Hub to get actual references from real people using these business and utilizing them to see what kind of experiences they've had.
Now, the key word is collaboration, right? And you see that a lot lately, like collaboration. Well, it really is about collaboration. If I didn't know to collaborate with my friends behind the camera, Jordan Long, if I didn't know how to collaborate with all these other people, all these individuals involved, you wouldn't know about us because of those people. Strength are in numbers. So just like Joey said, it's every industry. We want to hear from how your experiences were with your restaurants. We want to hear your cleaning people, your contractors, your roofing companies. I mean, every industry out there, your masseuses, your salon. We want to hear real experiences from real people. And one more thing, very, very important, we're not going to allow networking. When we say networking, I just want to be very specific on this. And people say, oh, well, you're kind of pushing people away. No, we're not, because there are specific network groups that post and tag people without ever utilizing their business. And we don't want that. We want real experiences.
You're not forced to recommend somebody simply because you're in the same group.
Right.
And that's what we want. And it's not just about business either.
Right.
It's about charity and giving. We want a local hub for events to help people.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Look for Hub ads on the radio. Look for the Hub bus on the Pasco County Public Transportation System. Look in Facebook and please share this, and let's grow this positive thinking, forward momentum community. We love you, Tampa Bay.
Join the Hub and grow with us.
See you soon.
Hey, Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football. But, of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilled on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here on a Monday night on the eve of franchise signing players. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show on this Monday evening? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and, of course, Amped Up Sports. And the return of Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. And then, of course, as always, your phone call, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to the comments. You know what? We won't go out to the comments. I'll go out to this comment. F gas, $4.20 a gallon of gas. Look, if you guys want to talk about gas prices tonight, we can do that. If you want to talk about free agency, we can do that. If you want to talk about the gambling scandal involving Calvin Ridley, we can talk about it. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. So without further ado, let's get these two gentlemen on. Here we go. Let's get his intro on. Here we go. All right, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, it's Sports Mag. Oh, excuse me. No. Former
Try again, Peter.
Night Sports Productions and, of course, Amped Up Sports. Man, I'm losing my mind tonight already. Leo Haggerty on. Let me go ahead and get this guy on. Here we go. He likes that, Mr. Harry the Greek.
Opa.
Right here with these two gentlemen.
Peter Blake, little Leo, what's going on, brother?
Another day in paradise, but hey, Harry, I want the handicapping info on this. What's going to happen first? Fireworks on the 4th of July or the first pitch in baseball?
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
We're already starting it out.
Everybody can see Chicago baseball. I just wish it was back. Sorry if you guys can't understand me a little bit. I've been a little under the weather. I've lost my voice.
Well,
haven't been doing too well. What's going to be back first? Baseball.
Baseball will be back.
Yeah,
I hope you're right, because I've got my Rays shirt on tonight, but I'll tell you what, it ain't looking good, is it, Harry?
No, it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. I don't like what the hell they're doing out there. That's just absolutely horrible what they've done to the Major League Baseball. And you know what? Everybody's like, oh, if they go on strike, it's going to be the end of baseball. No, they just come back stronger. You know what sucks, Leo? It's billionaires fighting with millionaires. Just really think about that for me. It's billionaires fighting with millionaires. It's like me, the millionaire, fighting with my boss, the billionaire. I know he's watching the show. Right, Bob?
Yeah. And the worst thing is they're fighting over walk-around money. That's the funny part.
I know.
It's not that big a deal. Just come up with something. What upsets me the most, and Peter, we'll give you your show back in a minute.
Sure, no problem.
No, he's fine. He could just sit in the background.
I know. What upsets me the most is the CBA ran out December 1st, and they waited till the beginning of February. It's like they wanted this to happen, and that's not good.
No, it's definitely not good at this point. And, some of the things they're fighting over at this juncture to eliminate JIP, stuff like that, we can get back to that. But I think the main focus has to be, and I usually start off with Bucs news, but the breaking news of the day, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, suspended indefinitely by Roger Goodell for gambling on games. And, the NFL said at first, and this was Roger Goodell, he said today suspended Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons indefinitely through at least the conclusion of the 2022 season for betting on NFL games in the 2021 season. The league statement reads, The activity took place during a 5-day period in late November 2021, while Ridley was not with the team and was away from the club's facility on the non-football illness list. Of course, went away with, trying to get mentally prepared, mental problems, if you will, stepping away from the game. You can't make this stuff up, though. He's in Florida, and he uses the Hard Rock app.
Hold on.
Name in there. Yes.
Just please. Just go ahead and say it, Peter. What did I say was going to happen all of last season?
Well, you said it best. I mean, the NFL was associated with gambling, of course, having all these sponsors now, 7, DraftKings, this and that and the other thing. Of course, we have a sponsor here, but I'm not an NFL football player. And at the end of the day, guys, it absolutely hurts the integrity of the game. And that's exactly.
It's never going to hurt the integrity of the game because the National Football League is never, ever, ever, did I say ever enough? Ever going to admit that they made a mistake. I have told everybody, look, I'm a professional handicapper and gambler. I've said it from day one. Don't make it easier. Okay. Take it from someone that actually knows Pete Rose. Okay. On a personal basis. Don't make it easier for people to make wagers. Look, if it's already reached the players, trust me, it's hit the referees, it's hit ownership, it's hit management, it's hit player personnel. What's stopping somebody from sitting on the field going,
right. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of fans now.
You know what that means? That could be, hey, put 25 dimes that they don't get the first down on this play. Or, hey, put 25 dimes that I'm going to move it back 10 yards. It's just they're making it too easy. And I need to remind everybody, Peter and Leo, you guys remember this back in 2002. Roger Goodell said, in a layman's terms, there was no difference between Las Vegas, what's associated with gambling, and Satan himself. They wanted nothing to do. They wanted nothing to do with Las Vegas, i.e., when the Buccaneers went to the Super Bowl, the Las Vegas wanted to make advertisements, for the National Football League and to be able to buy them. And Roger Goodell went, hold on. We're going to have to throw holy water on this because it's bad. In 2017, they revisited it, and Roger Goodell's like, well, it's bad, but then the damn hypocrite in 2019 turns around and with the collective bargaining agreement and everything else and went, you know what? There's a place in the National Football League for this shit. I'm going to make $2 billion for the NFL doing this.
Right.
Be very careful what you wish for, Leo. I don't know what your opinion is, but there should not be a sports book in any pari-mutuel facility, and sports books have no business at all being in any NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA stadium throughout this country because you're going to have a whole bunch of Pete Roses. Wait till it happens to your quarterback in Denver. Wait till it happens to your running back in New Orleans or your quarterback up in the New York Giants. This is the exact same problem. And you know what the National Football League's going to do? Oh, wait a minute. That's a bad apple. He's suspended. We don't condone this kind of policies.
Well, yeah. I mean,
unless we're getting a kickback from the action, and that's what's happening. Guys, I'm going to go back, and I'm old enough to remember Alex Karras and Paul Hornung. They got suspended for gambling.
God damn, you're old.
They bet on their own team to win.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't like they were betting against the Packers or the Lions. They were betting on them to win. I've got 4 questions, Peter, and I sent these to you. I said, first one, did Calvin Ridley bet on the Falcons to lose? If he did, suspend him.
It doesn't make a difference,
Leo. Hold on. Let's go to plan 2, though. If he bet on them to win, so what? What does that have to do with anything? And here's the other thing now, Harry. What happens to Stephen Ross for going to his coach and saying, I'm going to give you $100K for every game you throw?
Nothing. Nothing's going to happen to him. This is insanity, guys.
That's
you know why nothing's going to happen to him? Because this bullshit hasn't stopped since the inception of time. There has been an issue in the National Football League and the major leagues, also in the NBA and the NHL. Pardon me for cursing, but this is touching a really bad spot in my heart. Remember, I told everybody I'm very good friends with many Major League Baseball players. They don't play, and they're not part of the major leagues because of this very same problem. How dare the National Football League go, it's okay, come to me, we love you, because Leo, you're right. But we're missing the whole narrative, guys. You know what the narrative is, Leo, is?
What's that?
How dare Calvin Ridley bet 18 parlays? Who the hell bets 8 and 5 team parlays? I mean, he should be suspended for life just for doing that. Harry the Greek never approved that message.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The source informed the NFL's investigation into Calvin Ridley's gambling tells me the bets did involve the Falcons. Now, it was originally reported that it wasn't on the Falcons. That's what the NFL came out and said. But Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network said it was on the Falcons to win.
Trust me, Peter, even if he bet the Falcons to lose, the National Football League would never admit to it. Trust me when I tell you this.
Why would they?
They will never admit to it. And you know what? In order to keep him quiet, they're going to say, you're going to shut up. We're not going to Pete Rose you, because what's going to be our segment? Who's going to get Pete Rose this week, okay? Nobody is ever going to get Pete Rose in football. They're just not going to. If you bet on the team, we're going to pay those people off like we're supposed to, and then you're going to be suspended for the year. Go ahead and make your bets later. Just, don't be so stupid. Don't do it on your telephone.
Right.
Stupid idiot.
Don't use your real name. We're on with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, and of course, Mr. Leo Haggerty, the legend of Amped Up Sports, Night Sports Productions. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And I go back to it. This must have been serious, and it seemed like the NFL was kind of trying to downplay this, Leo. But really, you suspend a guy for a year. Guy already knows, but you put this in Amped Up Sports Facebook page. You had some points of emphasis there where you're looking at the other side where he wasn't a part of the Atlanta Falcons. Is it okay for him to bet on other teams like the NBA, but not bet in his own league, right? In my opinion, I mean, what do you say?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean,
love Leo.
There's nothing wrong with Tom Brady putting $100,000 on Bryson DeChambeau to win the next golf tournament. There's nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers dropping 10 large on the Lakers to win their next game. What is wrong with that? How does that affect the NFL? I'm sorry. The NFL cannot have their cake and eat it too here. You can't say that gambling is bad and then you just simply roll over and play dead for Las Vegas and all the gambling people. Again, why did they move the games up from 4:30 to 4:15 and the other ones back? So that somebody could double down with the next game. They wanted to make sure all the games were done and there's another game to bet on. It is such a hypocrisy for the NFL to come out and say, oh, Calvin Ridley, wait, for one thing, he played 8 5-team parlays? I mean, like you said, Harry, that guy needs some serious schooling by someone like you, because he ain't going to win any of them.
Well, here's the thing. This is what he had to say. I bet $1,500 total. I don't have a gambling problem, which, by the way, guys, he bet $1,500 on the possibility of losing his $11 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons. And guess what? He's not going to get paid this year because of this. He also said, I couldn't even watch football at that point. Okay.
Don't worry. The Raiders will take him.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is the second Alabama wide receiver that's had problems. You had Henry, and now you have Calvin Ridley, supremely talented, but very troubled. This is the thing that gets me. I couldn't even watch football at this point. Harry, how can you say that and then do what? A 3, 5, and 8 game parlay and not watch the game of football? Although he did bet on the Falcons to beat the Jaguars, and that seemed, I guess, to work out for him, right?
Yeah, well, allegedly he bet on the Jaguars. Okay, I mean, let's be real.
Well,
you can't watch him. The Falcons or the Jaguars. You're never going to know the truth anyway. Okay, and of course he can't see the game, but he could see the scores. They post them all over the friggin' stadium, and it's not like he was catching passes anyway. Let's be real. The guy dropped half of everything that he threw to him lately.
Well, I mean, honestly, Leo, how could you bet and gamble if you're not even watching the game? And then he also says, just go on. He's trying to say going, but he said, just gone, be more healthy when I come back. So I guess he's going to be more healthy when he comes back. And I know I was wrong, but I'm getting 1 year, laugh out loud. So it just seems like, this guy really doesn't care about it. I mean, could we see down the road here, Leo and Harry? Leo, you can go first, and then Harry, you can go second. We could see more players down the road be implicated in this gambling thing, and the NFL may have to rethink this whole plan of partnering up with
It won't stop them. You don't have to go to any one of us. It's never going to stop them. Leo's going to probably look. Leo's a professional gambler too. He just hasn't talked about it that much. Trust me when I tell you, Leo knows what he's doing when it comes with the ponies or it comes to handicapping and everything else. He understands the whole genre.
Women's beach volleyball, the best thing to bet. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is, but tell me about it, especially live.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good, guys.
You can see Peter's head doing this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Harry, I'm going to throw this back to you.
Go ahead.
Is this just something that has outlived its usefulness? That either you open it up for gambling, whatever, or completely shut it down at the stadiums?
They're not going to.
Right,
they're not going to.
They're making too much money.
How do you think the Chicago? First off, Arlington Heights. Okay, if anybody's been to Chicago and Arlington, they had an incredible horse track. Let me tell you a quick story. Let me take you down memory lane here. When I was a kid, I used to like to go visit the ponies. Go figure. I used to go when I was 9, 10, 12 years old. I used to go to Sportsman's in Hawthorne and Arlington Park. Well, one day Arlington horse track burnt right to the ground. The mob had nothing to do with it, okay? And to collect the $26 million back in the late 70s, they had nothing to do with it. It wasn't about the insurance money. Then they built this brand new facility, and it was state of the art, and it was like the busiest horse track for so many years. It was the place to go. All of a sudden, the handle started going down when they got the lotto, but that's another story all in itself. Then Churchill bought them out. Churchill bought them out for a reason, because they had full intentions on buying it cheap and selling it big. They bought a dying horse track in Chicago because they knew that pari-mutuel and sports wagering were going to start going into these places in all the sports stadiums. So what would be best for the Chicago Bears? To move out of downtown Chicago where you can't get in and out of, where they charge you $15 for a pack of cigarettes and $10 for a gallon of gas? Oh, and sales tax on everything through the city? They're going to go 30 miles outside the city where you could still see the beautiful skyline. They're going to have a place that has so much property, it's like the size of Pinellas County, okay? And they're going to dump a stadium there, and they're going to manufacture it and put it, and they're going to put hotels and casinos. That's why they did it, my friends. So they're never, ever going to stop this. This narrative is never going to go to bed. Just trust me. We know the NFL is going to be corrupt, but the world won't know it. And if we did, you can't do anything about it anyway.
I want to read what Roger Goodell said today. Your actions put the integrity of the game at risk. You threaten to damage public confidence in professional football and potentially undermine the reputations of your fellow players throughout the NFL.
Blah, blah, blah.
Gambling on NFL games has been considered among the most significant violations of league policy, warranting the most substantial sanction. In your case, I acknowledge and commend you for your properly reporting, for an interview, and for admitting your actions. So there you go.
He had no choice but to admit it, right, Leo?
Oh, absolutely. He wants to play another down. He's going to just take his punishment and run. But is that same letter going to Stephen Ross? That's my question.
I mean, it should. I mean, it's.
How about Daniel Snyder?
Really?
Here's
the thing, guys. If you suspend him for a year,
look, I'm not credentialed. I could say it. What about the scumbag in Washington?
I mean, why not?
Seriously.
He is. I mean, you don't have to be credentialed or not.
He must, like I said, he must, like other owners, have pictures of Goodell doing something. Because
he visited the same part. He visited the same joint that Robert Kraft did.
Well, guys,
they had a 2-for-1 special there.
We all know what it comes down to. If an owner, if you're liked by the good old boy network, of course, you're making money for other owners. They're not going to touch you at the end of the game. We've seen the NFL and their consistency on these type of subjects where it comes to Ray Rice or Greg Hardy or something along those lines, where until it hits their pocketbook, that's when they take a stand on it. And somebody wrote this today on Twitter. I was reading it. Let me get this straight. Gambling is a lot more severe of a punishment than sexual assault off the field and, of course, domestic abuse.
Listen, you can't compare the two, and I'm not trying to steal Leo's thunder here. You can't compare the two, okay? Look.
Actually, one's worse than the other. I mean,
it really is, but you can't compare the two. And the reason why you can't compare the two is because sexual assault, it's not fair, okay? It wasn't talked about so much 40 and 50 years ago, okay? Would that be a fair assessment, okay? They're both, look, sexual assault, that's so much worse than anything else. They suspended Ray Rice now for life. Do you remember that?
Yes, but I also remember suspending.
That was just an assault.
One error.
Okay?
One error.
But they didn't do this with gambling. You know what, Leo? This question is directed for you. Okay?
Shoot.
You have watched more games probably than anybody that I know. You'll probably forget more about football than the average person's ever going to learn. Have you ever, in the 50 or 60 years that you have been watching professional sports, ever seen this much parity than you did this past season in the National Football League? And there's a reason why I'm asking this.
You know what, Harry? Are we going to call it parity or mediocrity? And again,
no, parity. I'm going to call it parity.
It is parity, and this is what the NFL wants. They do not want year after year after year what baseball has with the Yankees and the Dodgers, and they don't want that. They want a different name at the top.
I think it's gambling, Leo.
Oh, absolutely, it's gambling.
I think it's gambling, Leo. I think that's why you had so much parity this year. You have not heard the end of it, and if you don't, let me tell you something. They need to expose a little bit more about it, but I don't think you're going to hear too much about it. I really don't.
You can't, because if you start to hear more about this, then once again it becomes a black eye and it becomes a problem for the National Football League. Because this type of question right here from Christopher Cole: how many refs have made bets on the games?
You know what, Peter? I'm going to go back when Bobby Knight got interviewed, and during the interview, he says, "You know, it's amazing. The easiest guys to get to throw a game are the referees. You only have to deal with two."
That's
Boy,
right.
that interview ended quickly. And then you saw that NBA official come out.
Oh, you remember that, huh? We don't talk about that, though, Leo.
Boy, I'll tell you, he was right. I mean, there were some guys. Hey, Dick Bavetta. Every big game Dick Bavetta's doing. Is there a reason for it? Probably. He's a company guy.
Right.
And you got, Jake O'Donnell would do the same. And again, all of a sudden they'd make a call and you go, wait, what the heck happened just here?
Right.
And it is, Tim said, these guys were getting it and it was easy to get. And I took the money too. So it's crazy.
It has to make you wonder, has to make you go, just like that song said years ago, like in the Super Bowl, the mythical pass interference or the holding down by the goal line. Not to say that they wouldn't have scored, but then again, you haven't called penalties all game long.
Yep.
And hold on, wait a minute. You miss an extra point not to cover. People that watched that game with me, Peter, I think I might have said, that's going to come back and haunt me.
Yep.
That one point right there is going to come back and haunt me. Look, a series of events had to happen. All the stars had to line up. And it did for Cincinnati in that game. Let me go ahead and recap it for you. The Rams miss an extra point. First play or second play after the second half started, the non-call of the face mask that the ref was sitting 5 yards, watching the whole thing like this, didn't make the call so that Cincinnati could score the touchdown. That's how they covered.
Well, I mean,
that's why I asked you, have you ever seen so much parity? Not mediocrity. And you know what? I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you know what?
But
I'm
here,
not a person that believes in coincidences.
they showed a video of Ridley catching passes today. Somebody chopped this up, and it looked like he could score a touchdown. He slowed down or got tackled, and now people are starting to say, you know what? Maybe when he was on the field, he was gambling too. Maybe he was trying to point shave. I mean, that's what we're looking at right now. This is what you open up with this allegation now, with this conversation from the National Football League suspending Calvin Ridley, right, Leo?
Yeah, and you know what, Peter? I'm going to tell you the greatest point shaving story in the world.
Love it.
Long Island University
Oh, yeah.
was caught for point shaving.
Mhm.
Peter, guess how many games they lost that year?
How many?
0. They won the NCAA and the NIT and were shaving points. And again, it's the hardest thing to do is prove this because, you know, you've got so many things happen. All of a sudden, the guy turns the ball over. And Harry, I'm going to throw this out at you.
Uh-oh.
Week ago Saturday, the top 6 teams in the NCAA all lost on the road.
I know.
7 of the top 10 lost on the road. That's a gambler's heaven, isn't it?
Yes, it is. When I seen that, I was like, oh, Lord. Why? Why couldn't I possibly be involved? I haven't made one bet in the NCAA. Not one. Not one this year. Leo, I don't believe in coincidences, sir.
No, things happen for a reason.
That's why I said
Exactly.
things are happening for a reason, and I'm not going to be convinced it's mediocrity. This is some serious shit that's happening in the National Football League, and we have just scratched that surface to even see what's going on. And trust me, people don't start making 5-team parlays and says, that was my first time betting. Get the hell out of here. You don't even know how to spell parlay. And if you've never made bets before, 5-team parlay, 7 and 8-team parlay. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Harry, I'm going to throw this one back at you then. Should it be a crime for an NFL player or an NBA player or an MLB player or a hockey player to gamble?
Yep.
On their league, yes. On other leagues,
no.
I don't care. But
if you are a professional, let me ask you something. Were you allowed to be a professional athlete at one time and be able to play in the Olympics?
No.
No.
Not.
Thank you. I don't think you should be able to allow to be gambling and be a professional athlete.
Okay.
I don't care. If you play in the NBA, it's not okay to bet baseball. Okay? It gives people the benefit of the doubt. What are you afraid of, Books? What are you afraid of, Caesars? What are you afraid of, Harris? That you're going to miss $1 million worth of wagers or $10 million worth of wagers and you're going to lose 50% of them? You know what? It's a dark, dark hole that you've made everybody go down. Clean it up. That's what you need to do. You need to clean it up because it has no place in the National Football League. It has no place in the Major League Baseball, the NHL, nor the NBA. I'm not saying it's not good to bet on them. I don't think it's good to be able to bet on them at the facilities where they play.
Oh, okay. All right. At the facilities where they play. Hey, you know what? The one thing we haven't even talked about.
Yeah.
That's just coming up. How about the brackets with March Madness? That's probably every athlete in the world is in some sort of March Madness pool. You know, hey, who's my brackets? What's going on there?
Right.
And again,
if the brackets are free, that's a different story.
Right. You may put $20 down in a pool, but it's not like you're betting, okay, I'm betting on this team, this team, this team. I'm just saying, okay, there's 20 guys in here. We're all threw in $20. So
it doesn't. Leo, what happened to Calvin Ridley, even having a chance, and I don't mean to interrupt you. It's dishonoring the greats of baseball, of a Pete Rose. This is dishonoring the great shoeless Joe Jackson, who, in my opinion, never threw anything, never threw his game. The batted like 500 in that series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And yet he was banned, arguably one of the best baseball players ever. It's a disgrace, man, for what happened. And all you're going to do is get a couple of excerpts and say, hey, Calvin Ridley bet on football. just make sure we advertise a little bit, but not too much. We don't want to give Major League Baseball, or we don't want to give the NFL any kind of a black eye.
Well, look, fantasy football has gone on for the NFL, since 1993, and that's gambling to a certain degree. We're on with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. 12 in Chicago sports. We got Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about.
Hold on. Can you do that all over again? Because that was about the quickest I've seen you do the intro for 3 people. It took you less than 30 seconds. That was pretty good, Peter.
Thank you very much. I'm getting
He's getting good at it. Yeah,
not bad.
Hanging out
And
with
he did it
buddy.
with one breath.
Yes, absolutely. All right. I'll tell you what, let's move on here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Want to get this question out from somebody. David says, I already asked Peter, Mr. Leo, what are your thoughts on what the Buccaneers are going to do at tight end? Much has been made. We heard about Gronk, and Harry, you can chime in on this also, that Gronk is working out twice a week at the facility. Certainly doesn't sound like a player that wants to retire. The question is he going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer or a Buffalo Bill or Cincinnati Bengal? Go, Leo.
I'll tell you what, Peter, if I'm leaning one way, and if Tom Brady doesn't come back, which I'm about 90% sure he's not going to come back, I think he goes to Buffalo. It's his hometown. It's his roots. And again, not too many people can say, I won a Super Bowl with New England, I won a Super Bowl in Tampa, and I win a Super Bowl in Buffalo, of all places. I think that cements his legacy into the Hall of Fame.
If Buffalo gets him as a tight end, we know that his inline blocking helps that running game out. We know that also he has something left in the tank. Does that automatically make the Buffalo Bills a Super Bowl contender, but the favorite to win the Super Bowl, Leo?
I don't know if you'd go so much as to make them the favorite, but they are sure going to be in the conversation of the top 1 or 2 teams in the AFC. And again, like Harry said, right now you can make a case for probably 4 teams in the AFC to make a serious. Well, I'll go with 4. To make a serious run at what happens. Now, if all the stars align right, I'll agree with you with 6. But right now, I'm thinking 4. I'm thinking Kansas City. I'm thinking Buffalo. I'm thinking Cincinnati. I'm thinking San Diego.
Cincinnati doesn't make the playoffs this year.
Wow.
Agreed.
Cincinnati won't make the playoffs this year, and I love the quarterback. And I'm going to give you my projection. Leo was only 90% sure that Brady's not coming back. I'll give anybody you want 50-1 that he doesn't come back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So when the Greek's giving you a 50-1 odds, Peter, for your layman's terms, if you lay $100 on 50-1, that means you get 5,000. $5K. That means you get $5K. That's 100% guarantee he's not coming back to Tampa. That pipe dream has left. Okay, get ready for Kyle Trask or Blaine Gabbert.
Then why does he continue to say, we'll take one day at a time?
What do you want him to say, man? What
I
do you want him to say? You want Again, I'm not the ones that are credentialed here, okay? So let me go ahead and speak my piece.
Okay.
Tom Brady doesn't want to play in Tampa because he doesn't want to play with Bruce Arians. Okay?
So you believe that?
No, I definitely believe that, okay? I've always said this from before. I have never been a big Bruce Arians supporter, okay? I love what this team has done. Jason Light was the reason why this team went out and got a Tom Brady, why they accumulated and be able to retain all those players. He's been an extraordinary general manager, but Bruce Arians is not a very nice man, okay? He just isn't, okay? He's a mediocre head coach, in my opinion, at best. I'm not a big believer of the coaching staff, and never have been, never will be. I don't like his gameplay calling. You don't have Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, and you give them the ball less than 10 times a game on an average. Sorry, you just don't do that. And when your quarterback, his name is Tom Brady, okay, and he's coming in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to work a game plan with your offensive coordinator, who is Byron Leftwich, who I've been very critical of, not as much anymore, to find out that those two were collaborating to try to put a game plan together, and your head coach comes in and says, yeah, no, we don't like this. Yeah, no, we don't like this. We're just going to run this. Have a nice day. I'm the coach. I wouldn't want to play for him either. This is Tom Brady. This isn't Mitchell Trubisky, okay?
You had to go down that road with Trubisky, didn't you?
Okay.
Well,
This
look,
is
he's
time.
not- now, guys, he's a hot commodity. We'll
No,
get back
he's
to
the
that.
hottest commodity in the National Football League as a quarterback.
There's our teams out there talking about paying Trubisky $10 million to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Now,
And you know what? They're gonna underpay him at $10 million a year. Now you're gonna throttle my ass a little bit. I'm gonna give you both a trivia question here. Since the NFL became in the modern day NFL, since the Super Bowl, did you know that Mitchell Trubisky is the only quarterback ever, get this stat, ever to play 50 games or more and never throw a pick six? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about a guy they ran out of Chicago that made the playoffs 2 out of his first 4 years, even with an inept head coach. Just think about that for a second.
Makes you want to go,
Absolutely.
Play that song. All right.
That's why I don't like Bruce Arians. I said there was something wrong. He just has that air about him that he's the man and you're going to do it my way. And the only way he gets away with it is because of the players that he had around him. Put him on a team like Houston. How do you think that team would have did?
That's not fair, and I'll tell you why. Because
that's not fair.
hold on. Everywhere he's been,
he's had a quarterback everywhere.
But he's also developed that quarterback everywhere he's gone.
Blaine Gabbert has the best chance of being their starter and doing remotely close what this team has done the past 2 years under center. The only reason why is because he understands this offense. Not Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert next year. But I'm telling you, not Blaine Gabbert, Kyle Trask next year. Blaine Gabbert is this year. He should be under center.
All right. Leo, do you buy?
Sorry, Leo.
No, I agree wholeheartedly.
Blaine Gabbert is your starting quarterback.
And again, if you start Gabbert, now you got a whole lot of cap money sitting around. And again,
there you go.
I think I'll take that further. I believe that if Brady comes back, it's not in Tampa. And if that happens, think of the draft choices Tampa's going to get for having to trade Brady. And that's going to be huge. No, not going to be 5. It'll be 3, Peter.
Well, BA said 5 first-round draft picks. A lot of people kind of raised their eyebrows on this.
Trust me. They ain't getting a first-round draft pick for Tom Brady at 45 years old.
I'm telling you right now.
It ain't happening. They'll get a second. You think so?
Yeah. They'll have
you know what? I want to know what team does that because I want to personally go sell them something.
San Francisco 49ers. That's who will do it. John Lynch and the San Francisco 49ers are a team that's desperate. And a lot of people were up in arms. And we're all
I hate hypothecating, guys. I
love doing
Tampa because Tampa's never going to release them. Just never going to release them.
Not going to release
and they're going to be the ass wipes of the NFL.
Are they wrong?
Hold the greatest? Yeah, they're wrong.
No,
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want. You know what? They're not wrong, Peter. And I'm going to tell you why. He came to Tampa, didn't have to, and he brought a championship here to this town. Okay.
So wait a minute. I get he brought a championship to the town, but they also
if he means that much to you, fire and get rid of Bruce Arians, and you make Leftwich your head coach.
But I still don't know if that's the reason why he's retired, guys. And the whole thing of, well, you owe Tom Brady because he came here and won a championship. He signed a contract, guys. He's under contract. The Bucs are not just going to give him away. Come on.
No.
Because everybody knows once you try to give Tom Brady away.
But let's be reasonable with what they're asking for him.
I would ask for 5 first-round draft picks.
No. 2.
At least
Leo, I'm going to ask you. You're the general manager of the Denver Broncos.
I'm not giving away 2, but somebody's going to.
Thank you. But
somebody's going to.
I just wanted to know because you know what? I understand. You're not just a fan. And Peter, that's no disrespect to you. I'm talking about from a business perspective. Right. He's going to be 45 years old.
And he's still playing at a high level.
Peter, he's been playing at a high level at certain points of the game.
I'm telling you what the NFL is right now. I mean, it's the Tom Brady effect. The Bucs got him in free agency. The Rams traded for a Matt Stafford. If your team right now, like the San Francisco 49ers, or even as crazy as it sounds, the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they could get a Tom Brady, just throwing it out there, I don't think he's interested, but let's say he would be. Or Tennessee, you could get a Tom Brady. Does that make you an automatic Super Bowl contender? Yes or no? Oh, I disagree.
San Francisco, he does. You know why Tampa Bay didn't go to the Super Bowl this year, Peter?
Because of their injuries.
No.
Well, I mean,
sorry. Sorry, this team could have won. I'm sorry. It's two reasons. Bruce Arians and Bruce Arians. He doesn't want to run the football, Peter.
Well, to that point, you still won 13 games this year. You still had one of the top offenses in the National Football League. You still scored 30 points. You had a franchise best 13 wins. Their strength of schedule sucked. Okay, it was worse than what the Buffalo. I understand that. Hold on. Don't get too feisty here, Mr. Jumpy Frog. Here. I'm gonna get
After the first 12 games in the National Football League that the Buffalo Bills played in, when the season first started, they had the top 3 hardest schedule in football, and after the first 11 games, it was in the bottom third. It was like 28th or 29th in the National Football League. Tampa followed suit pretty close to it. Look, I'm not trying to down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you know that's not what I'm going to do, especially living here in the Tampa Bay area, rooting for the Buccaneers as well as my Chicago Bears. This team lost because of a head coach and the ineffectiveness of wanting and the willingness, not the ineffectiveness, but the willingness of not wanting to run the football. Injuries had this much to do with it. You still won 13 games because of injuries, Peter.
Well, I will tell you this. You're also good, but you lost Godwin and Antonio Brown. And by the way, who vouched for Antonio Brown? I get it. You won a Super Bowl. But
all the more reason to run that football. Peter, Leo, right or wrong?
Hey.
All the more reason to play defense and run the football.
What two things show up no matter what the weather is? Defense and a running game. And
going back to the defensive aspect, it was also Todd Bowles' fault for going 0 blitz versus Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Of course he's going to be wide open. I mean,
yeah, but Peter, that game was just such a disaster.
And if they got after, now Stafford doesn't have very much success against 0 blitz. Okay, trust someone that watches Matthew Stafford on a weekly basis and breaks down his tape every single week. Who, by the way, is also a fan of his. He doesn't do very well against the 0 blitz. His completion percentage is less than 40%. Just to let you know.
Wow. But Harry, here's the problem. The 0 blitz never materialized because 2 guys didn't follow suit on the defense. That's the amazing part.
And that's not on BA. That's on the players, and that's also on Todd Bowles. Everybody shares blame with this, and with all that being
I want people to make a comment, and I want everybody's comment in here. Do you think, and put it in there, do you think the Buccaneers would have had a better chance of going to the Super Bowl and not losing that game against the Rams had they started to run the football? With all the injuries that they had, do you think they would have had a better chance of winning that football game, as close as it was, by running the football?
And I
want to see those comments.
Here. Peter, you're getting schooled tonight. Sorry, bro. I'm not getting schooled tonight because so shut the hell up. Everybody's saying, this Bucs team is like a Cracker Jack team or something. They don't have anything around them. If I'm Tom Brady and I'm leaving this team, I don't know what I'm thinking. You're still going to have Chris Godwin. You're still going to have Mike Evans. You're still going to have a pretty good defense. What the hell are you talking about?
You know what, Harry? I'm gonna slightly disagree with your idea on the run.
Oh, okay.
I think the biggest problem was that Brady didn't want to run the ball as much. This team, this team wanted to throw the ball, whether good, bad, or indifferent. They wanted to. If you look at them, most of the time you say when a team throws it over 30 times a game, that's not a good sign.
No,
the Buccaneers were throwing it close to 40 and won 13 games, and again. That's because that defense showed up. And when they got to the Rams and when Tristan Wirfs went down and they didn't figure out that, okay.
All the more to run.
Right. Because the Rams lined up in what we call a ghost 9. What a ghost 9 is, 9 technique is you're outside the tight end. A ghost 9 means you're out another spot, that there'd be a second tight end. All they did was rush hard on the edge. The tackles couldn't anchor. All they could do was push them by the quarterback. Well, Brady didn't figure out right away. If you watch him, he'll catch the ball and he'll drift 2 steps back. Well, he drifted right into the rush. If you watch the second half, he caught it and stepped up. And that was the key.
I seen that, but I also broke that game down a couple of different times. And they were playing a lot of cover 2, and they were playing the 2 high safeties the Rams were playing in that game. That is just inviting you, saying, hey, we know you're going to pass the ball. We don't respect your running game. I don't know how much more stop. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
And you know what, Harry? Harry,
Go
I
ahead.
agree wholeheartedly with you. They should have ran it off tackle all day long because those defensive ends are out of the play. All they got to do is turn down on the tackle. They're going 4, 5, 6 yards a pop before they hit anybody.
I agree, but I don't ever like using injuries as an excuse. Yes, it is an excuse, but they did have a small factor in it. But if they ran the football, in my heart, I believe the Buccaneers were winning that game. And Peter, you remember, I was like, I'm betting an absolute package in this game.
Yep.
On the Rams.
Yep.
Just to win it, not even grabbing the points, because I said, you asked me why, and I says because they're going to abandon the run game. It had nothing to do with the injuries. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
But I still think if you lose when you lose Brown, I get it, and you also lose your best offensive lineman in Tristan Wirfs.
And all the more to run the football.
I agree. And look,
this ass clown that they got as a head coach, in my opinion, doesn't want to run the football.
Well, that's absolutely a valid point we're on with
and
here.
Leo, I do want to bring up one scenario. You brought it up already. You said you disagreed because you says ye wanted to pass. How do we know that? Because we can't say that's what it was for him in the past. He made more attempts playing under Bruce Arians' offense than he ever did in his career. They weren't a pass-first team in New England. They were a run-first team to set up the pass, Leo.
Oh, absolutely. Tampa Bay
That's why I believe that Bruce Arians the problem, not Tom Brady.
Tampa Bay is a pass-first offense to set up the run. You're right. Yeah. It's just the opposite.
How'd that ever work out for the Houston Oilers with the Chuck and Duck and the ones in Atlanta with Jerry Glanville? How'd that work out for you? They were great. They were high-flying. Did they ever go anywhere in the playoffs?
You're exactly right. Warren Moon and Haywood Jeffries and Ernest Givings.
Never.
And all these guys, they didn't go anywhere. And you have, of course, Jerry Glanville and the run-and-shoot offense. I agree with you on that. But this day and age of the NFL, a lot of coaches like to pass the ball. Now, I will agree with you on this. The offense the year before, when they had more balance to it, was a lot better, but they didn't have confidence in that running game, especially Ronald Jones taking a step back, Leonard Fournette somewhat being banged up. You have Keyshawn Vaughn at that point. You have Le'Veon Bell at some juncture there. You have Giovanni Bernard. So, the running game is definitely something they're going to have to address. Let me go out to
Peter, while you're going out to the phone, let me throw this out to you.
Yeah.
Harry and Peter. Do they need to change the overtime rules for at least the playoffs?
Yes.
Yes.
They need to change the overtime rules at period.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like to see the
Here's my thought.
Go ahead. Okay.
I think college has the right idea. Everybody gets a possession from the 25. I want to change the spot. Start on your own 40. That way you've got to get at least 2 first downs before the field goal even comes into play. And you just go back and forth from the 40. Until that happens. I mean, that makes the most logical sense in the world. And now, look at what's happened the last 3 times we've seen overtime. New England, Atlanta never saw the ball. We saw the same thing happen with Buffalo and Kansas City. You lose the toss, you lose the game. And that can't be right.
Yeah, that's definitely disappointing. All right, let's go out to some of these comments here, mostly by Roger Shue. Guys, if you want to text in, you can. Support your host with the super chats. I appreciate that. No Troy Polamalu. I guess he decided to quit. That's all right. Go Cubs go, says Roger. I know, hear you like that. Christopher Cole says, hey, guys, what's up? David asked the question about tight end. So do you think Gronk Harry plays with the Bucs, or does he play with the Bengals or Bills, in your opinion?
I have no opinion on it. I'm surprised he's still practicing. I think he's still there just to give people something to talk about. Something to talk about. And Tom Brady's going back to Tampa. I could be definitely wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I love to see Tom Brady come back. But I think he plays for the Buccaneers this year.
All right.
Or Buffalo.
All right. Roger Shue says, Harry, you need a bottle of Ouzo to cure the Rona. He doesn't have the Rona. So thanks a lot for the fake news. Harry, you feel better, brother. Absolutely. Tatiana says, yes. Thank you very much. I'll fire the cannons for that. Christopher Cole says, exactly. Great show, you're all. Gronk going to Buffalo. Roger again. Don't franchise Godwin. He needs to go to the Bears. That has been the other point of contention. The latest rumor, various sources here, ProFootballTalk.com, ESPN, Fox Sports say that the Bucs are going to franchise Chris Godwin. Now, Harry the Greek, we do have a bet that
If they franchise Chris Godwin, you're going to have an Allen Robinson year. It is so unfair to that young man to hold him back to do that. It's about now to be able to make money. And you know what? That would be Tampa Bay should be ashamed of themselves if they did that 2 years in a row with him. He went out and played his ass off this year. Pay the man or let him go.
Well,
and you know what, guys? Let's say all these guys, Jensen, Godwin, and Davis, they all walk. Guess what? You get 3 third-round compensatory picks. That ain't bad. And you got a lot of cap space now.
Yep.
And again, I said this last year. If Tom Brady got hurt and Gabbard had to come in, this was still a team that could win 7-8 games. It had that much talent there. And if they can sign the right people, now I think Ali Marpet's retirement really puts them behind the 8 ball on that offensive line.
Sure.
But again, the nice thing is, you're not talking about a team that won 4 or 5 or 6 games. You're talking about a team that won 13 games.
Correct.
And you just got to figure out who to sign and how to sign them. That's the big thing. But I wouldn't use the franchise tag with anybody, only because all that does is, like Harry said, it makes people mad.
Well,
the first year, it's okay. I get it. Prove it to me, guys. Okay? You just won a Super Bowl. They got away with it. You didn't win the Super Bowl this year. It's time to pay Chris Godwin. And by the way, I'd be careful on how much money you want to pay this guy. We don't know how good he's going to be coming back.
Well,
and you know what? Year 2, he's not going to cut the same.
I'll tell you what, the reason why you do pay him 98 catches last year, dependable wide receiver, knows the system, is so integral to this system. And even Bruce Arians,
I agree with everything.
Right.
98 catches. It could have been 2,000 yards. I don't care. He tore an ACL.
That's the thing.
Let me tore an ACL, Peter. I could tell you one thing. I've got the second time I've torn my ACL. The first time I fixed it, and I wasn't the same since. And when I tore it again, I don't even bother it. I'm telling you now, it is one of the hardest injuries to come back from. Not everybody's an Adrian Peterson. Number one, you worry about cutting. You worry about making that one stop to cut left or right, depending on which knee that he injured. And furthermore, you're not as fast, Peter. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen.
Well, and you know what, guys? I'm going to throw this out at you. Jonathan Isaac, who plays for the Orlando Magic, still hasn't come back after an injury in the bubble in 2020 where he tore his ACL. Again, it's all about who is dealing with it. Some guys, it comes back, and it really depends on the severity of the tear.
Well, and I tell you right now, Jason Light talked about this at the Combine. He says you have to have confidence in the kid, and they have confidence in him. BA has confidence in him. And on top of it, he's not an Antonio Brown. He's not a diva. That's the reason why if you do franchise him, which will be $19 million, a lot of people will be up in arms. But Leo, you mentioned this on a previous show. The reason why you do this is because of a placeholder. Then eventually you can get that contract done and focus on other free agents, namely your own, and namely a Carlton Davis.
Yeah, if they franchise Godwin again, I think you got to sell to his agent. We're going to franchise him with the stipulation we are going to sign him during the year to a long-term deal.
Correct.
If not, remember, if you get franchised, and Harry, correct me if I'm wrong, you can sit out to week 7 before you even show up and still get credit for the year, correct?
Yeah, you still get credit for the year, but then you're tagged as being that guy, the guy that's not the team player. You know what? At some point, it has to be about the player.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, it's time to pay Chris Godwin. If you don't pay him, let him go. You've got to stop being selfish. I'm sorry. It has to be. That kid, that young man, from the time he was 5 years old, played football. Through school, elementary, middle school, high school, keeping up with his education, his studies, going to college, making it to the NFL, suffering through injuries. Pay him.
Well, I mean, again, it comes down, it takes two. What does he want? How much it's going to come? The reason why you franchise him, guys, in the first place is because you don't want him to be an unrestricted free agent. Because if he does get out there, there will be teams out there like the Chicago Bears, like this bonehead right here. Roger Shue says, Peter getting schooled by experts. Dude, you watch my show. Shut up.
Shut up.
God,
Peter, but bring it up again. I'm
Yeah.
going to show you. Bring that up there. But
Yeah.
you forgot the bottom part. It says awesome show, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Roger. Thanks a lot for taking a shot at me. But the reason why you friggin' franchise him in the first place is so he doesn't go to the Chicago Bears and basically ruin his career, because that's where wide receivers go to die, namely in Allen Robinson. Now,
Oh, really? Hold on. Wait a minute. How about the year before? Allen Robinson didn't go there to die. That was a thing that was a myth from the past. You want to see regression? Franchise him. Go ahead and franchise him. You want to see regression? Franchise him.
I think that Chris Godwin is Allen Robinson, and that's the reason why you're okay.
You're right. He's not Allen Robinson. He
That's
doesn't have the credentials that Allen Robinson had. Allen Robinson had better series and better seasons than Chris Godwin did, Peter.
Chris Godwin has a better attitude off the field, and you don't have to worry about him pouting about his other teammates. Chris Godwin is not a diva in this league, guys. And I tell you right now, if you're going to pay him $19 million, then he's going to take it all day long, and eventually the Bucs will figure out this contract situation. I love when you fire me up there, Roger Shue. That's what you get here. We're on with Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former coach, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. We got Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Sports. All right, let's talk about
all in one breath. It is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, I thought he was going to pass out on that one, Harry.
All right. And Roger Shue says, Justin Fields, Bay. How about this? How about that? You know, until he does something, stop bragging about it.
I'm going to throw this at Harry now.
Yes,
I am not a Justin Fields fan.
Nor am I.
I don't know what team saw in him. I mean, I watched him in college, and I mean, it's easy to go against Illinois. It's easy to go against Northwestern. It's easy to go against Indiana, but man, you're stepping up with the big boys now. And
you know what? That's a great point, Leo. But I got to tell you, we both know what that's considered. It's not the Big Ten up there; it's the Tiny 10.
No, it's the Big 2 and the Tiny 10. Yeah,
right. But let me, I've got to explain this to you, Leo. The guy's got a lot of intangibles, and his ceiling is off the chart. I mean, there's no denying the way he can throw a football, especially when he's rolling out of the pocket. His accuracy is just unbelievable, and he's got a real pretty pass. But the problem is, I hope they didn't ruin him, because they never tried to correct one thing that he has. He's got a real glaring need. We were talking with somebody, it was about a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed it too, and I'm trying to remember. It was on the David Schuster Express show. He had a guest on there. It was a former scout for the National Football League with the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants.
Greg Gabriel,
And,
I believe it
yeah,
was.
that's Greg Gabriel. And Greg Gabriel said it best. When Justin's coming back with the ball, he has a hitch in his throw, where instead of coming back and releasing, he's got that hitch. And Greg thinks it's an easy fix. Well, I got bad news for you, bro. When you have a hitch and you have to correct the hitch always comes back during the game. That's just my opinion. But I was not a big fan either, but I think he'll be in a really good quarterback for many years to come for the Chicago Bears. But I think they jumped the gun. They gave up too much to get him, because there was nothing wrong with the quarterback that they had.
Well, look, they wanted to move a different direction. I get that. I like Fields. I'll tell you why you like Fields, Leo, and this is going to hurt your feelings. But 5 touchdowns, injured against the Clemson team, proving that he is the top quarterback that day over a Trevor Lawrence. And then furthermore, the reason why you like him is because he's got mobility. And look, he took 36 sacks with that Chicago Bear offensive line. You got to build a line around this kid, or you're going to get him killed. So I'm not ready to crown him the new franchise quarterback or the new Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but I'm definitely not ready to say he's a bust in the
No,
NFL.
you're gonna see. No, he's not a bust. Not even near that. You're gonna see him. You're gonna see him really ascend this year. Justin Fields is going to have an extraordinary year, because they're going to run the football. Let me say that again. They're going to run the football. Did I say that enough? They promise you they're going to run the football. When they run the football and you bring that 8th person in the box, what do, Peter and Leo? They roll the quarterback out, and you have single coverage downfield, and then you burn them. Not. Then again, we're not talking about the Chicago Bears.
No, you're right. We're talking about the Chicago Bears, and that's okay. Who cares off the field? I want a damn Super Bowl. But look, it has to be all those components or you can get away with it for a little bit. But if you have that cancer in your locker room and it festers, oh, by the way, that's Antonio Brown. Just saying.
Allen Robinson was not a cancer. That's not a very fair
I'm
statement
not
to say
saying
about
he was.
Allen
I'm
Robinson.
saying Antonio Brown.
I mean, the last cancer the Bears had at a wide receiver, his name was Brandon Marshall.
Right.
You want to talk about a cancer, okay? Don't even get me started there.
Very well. That didn't work out at all. Very talented receiver, but the off the field stuff is
You know, it's funny, guys. We talk about that, but I had a conversation with numerous coaches in the NFL, and I said, "You got a jerk in your locker room. What's the problem?" He said, "One jerk is not the problem. Two is the problem.
Yep.
If you got two guys, I can't deal with two. I can deal with one. I can deal with one diva. I can deal with one idiot. I can't deal with two." And that's what a lot of them just tell you. That
So
you know,
did Terrell Owens count for 1 or 2?
1.5. That's the problem. 1.5. And again, you know, that's the funny thing. And, you know, Harry, you talked about giving stuff up. When the Buccaneers decided to trade for John Gruden, they traded 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s. And I said, as a fan, I love the deal. As a general manager, I hate the deal.
Yep.
Because I'm giving up way too much for something that I'm not going to see on the field. Now, granted, they won the Super Bowl, which
They
is
sold their
great.
soul to the devil.
Exactly.
And Tampa got away with it twice. Okay.
Twice.
They've gotten away with it twice now. They sold their soul to the devil. Twice.
Yeah.
It's all right. We love.
Okay. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know, I'm sorry for Daniel Snyder. He's done it twice.
Yeah.
He didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, guys.
Yes.
Do you think Buffalo would trade one of those 4 Super Bowl appearances for one victory?
Yes.
1,000,000%.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
They would have sold. They would have sold 3 of them for 1.
Yeah,
Right.
and I'll tell you the problem there is too. I think Scott Norwood got the worst deal in the world. Do you know how much he missed that field goal by? Put your hand up. That's it. Thumb to pinky.
Oh, cry me a river. I was at the game with the double doink.
One of the
the double doink in Chicago. I was on an airplane and I started screaming. They thought I was having a heart attack. I go, he double doinked it. He double doinked it.
Yeah. Not only did he double doink it, hit one upright.
Yep.
And then it bounces down, and then it goes up, and it's like, I think I'll just roll this way instead. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And did you know he actually double doinked it the following year on a different team?
He did.
And do you know who he was kicking for the year before?
You know, Tampa.
No, the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. That's right. That's right. He did. And you know what? I lost a game when he was with Cleveland. Okay, for hitting an upright. I had Peter, Leo. I had to buy another TV.
Oh, you know what? Oh my! You know what? My wife has the greatest idea. If you hit the upright or hit the crossbar, should be 4 points.
Oh yeah.
Wow. All
Make
right.
it 4.
All right, let's go on to Roger Shue here. He says he's got Luke Getsy coaching him now. And David says, I agree with you again, Harry. If we don't want to pay Godwin, we need to release him. But I'm always reminded it's a business. Guys, you just want to release the player and not get nothing for him. I mean, what do you think? This is the reason why you have the franchise tag in the first place. Relax. Jason Light will get it done. This organization will get it done.
Wait a minute. But Peter, you don't understand. If they don't franchise tag, they have to release him.
He's gone. Yeah.
Right.
They have to. He's not a trade bait.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why you put the franchise tag in the first place. And
but they can tag him and trade him.
They can, but it's highly unlikely. In fact, more than likely, if they tag him, they're going to more than likely lose Carlton Davis.
And trust me, the Bears aren't spending $15-20 million a wide receiver to save their ass from hell. Okay, trust me.
Would.
They don't. They won't.
But we know that. But that's the reason. That's the difficulty with the Chicago Bears. They have no first round picks, and they're not going to be able to get this quarterback any weapons.
They won't spend that kind of money.
I think we lost Leo there.
Leo, where'd you go, buddy?
He left. I don't know what he's gone here, but
I'm losing my voice now.
All right. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead, wrap it up. Go ahead and promote yourself, my friend. We'll get you out of here on that.
Can you promote me, please?
Yes, I'll go ahead and promote you. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252, Chicago Sports. Get better, my friend, and we'll see you on the evolution of Sports Talk Television very soon. All right?
Hey, great show, man. Thanks for having me on. It was awesome. Peter, it's always a pleasure to have you on there. I love being your co-host. Sorry I've missed you guys for the past 3 weeks. I needed a bit of a sabbatical. I'm working a little bit too much. Plus, I've been a smidge under the weather. No, I don't have COVID. And thanks for all the supporters out there. Thanks for sending me personal messages to my Facebook because, it shows me that you care. I didn't go anywhere, guys. I still have a show. We'll see you Friday night on 1252. Good night.
All right, good night. There you go. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Get better, my friend, all right? All right, there you go right there. I guess we'll go back out to Leo here really quick. We'll finish off with that. Go ahead and promote yourself, my friend.
Hey, go to Amped Up Sports. And again, we've got a situation happening this week, Peter, and I'm really excited to talk about it. We've got Will Lewis going to the Big East men's basketball tournament. I'll be going to the SEC men's basketball tournament, and we'll be reporting nightly on the Sports Web, Amped Up Sports, and I Love St. Pete from probably two of the premier men's basketball tournaments in the country.
Absolutely. We'll be in the studio here at PHB Studios, going live to those tournaments and getting the latest here. So if you're a college basketball fan, March Madness is in full bloom. Mr. Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member. Thanks a lot for your time, my friend. All right.
Always a pleasure and always an exciting night when Harry the Greek shows up.
There you go, my friend. We'll see you soon here on the Evolution. All right. There you go. Out the door. So now it's you and me on a Monday night. And I don't want to hear crickets because there's plenty to talk about when it comes down to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got a deadline. I said we. It's okay. Don't lose your mind because I said we. I feel like, we're in this together. We're trying to see what the Bucs are going to do next. Tuesday at 4:00, we figure out who the Bucs are going to tag. Survey says Chris Godwin. Do you have a problem with that? What would you do if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Would you franchise tag a Chris Godwin? Would you franchise tag a Carlton Davis? Would you franchise tag a Ryan Jensen? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to these comments. Here he was on. He says, where are all the dogs at tonight? Gas is cheap. And Lisa A. Vasquez says, hello, guys. What's going on there? And I love St. Pete. Let's go out to David here. Damn, Leo never did what the Buccaneers were just going to said what their Bucs were going to do at tight end. We'll get more of that, but I think what they're going to do, depending on what happens with Rob Gronkowski. I mean, is the guy going to stay with the Bucs, or is he going to retire, or is he going to go to another NFL team? And then at that point, more than likely, Cameron Brate's making a lot of money. You cut his salary down so you can free up some money to pay some other positions. OJ Howard goes by the wayside because he hasn't worked out. Maybe he needs a change of scenery, if you will. And then you probably draft somebody in the second or third or fourth round because the tight ends in this draft are pretty good. And consequently, they can also block. And that's the one thing with this tight end room that they couldn't do consistently besides a Gronkowski. Guys like a Cameron Brate, not a great blocker. He's getting better, but not a great one. OJ Howard, not a great blocker. I mean, that's what you want to do to take this offense to the next level. You got to get a blocking tight end, inline blocker who can help that running game out. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, the other big story of the day, Calvin Ridley suspended for gambling on not only NFL games, but also Falcon games. Do you have a problem with it? Did the NFL do right by it? The other situation that may be coming down with that is, are there other players that did this? Is the NFL hypocritical with suspending him for a year, with having all those sponsors? Are they hypocritical? Should they look the other way on it? I don't think you can. I got to read what Roger Goodell said today. It makes lots of sense. It does. Your actions put the integrity of the game at risk, threaten to damage public confidence in professional football, and potentially undermine the reputations of your fellow players throughout the NFL. For decades, gambling on NFL games has been considered among the most significant violations of league policy, warranting the most substantial sanction. In your case, I acknowledge and commend you for reporting for an interview and admitting your actions. And with the people saying, well, he didn't do it. He did. Because he admitted to it on Twitter. It was just $1,500. I learned from my L's. I'm going to come back healthier. To me, it's not really a big deal to him, but it is a big deal. It is. I've had this conversation with my father in the past. And when there's shady stuff going on, that's when you start pointing the fingers. That's when you start to say, oh, what happened in New Orleans? Why did New Orleans get screwed from the refs? Oh, that was paid off when the refs were paid off. I mean, if you have enough of those situations, then what does sports become? Sports entertainment. And then basically that's professional wrestling. Now, I love professional wrestling, but if you're talking about competitive sports at the end of the day, when it comes to the National Football League and Major League Baseball and NBA, that's why when all that stuff came out about the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox, I felt like Major League Baseball had a duty to suspend them for as long as they could, because that's cheating. That takes away from the integrity of the game. What's the difference? If you have cheaters and you have gamblers that are gambling on the game, no telling how many players are doing it at the time. No telling how many coaches are doing it at the time. No telling how many owners are doing it at the time. And of course, the very fearful how many refs are doing it at the time. That's why Roger Goodell had to do what he did today. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So, Calvin Ridley says he doesn't have a gambling problem. I disagree. You went from betting $1,500 to losing $11 million. On a 3, 5, 8 game parlay. Was it worth it? And then you actually admit I couldn't watch football at the time. Why in the world are you betting in the first place if you can't watch football? How can you make an educated decision? It doesn't make any sense. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Other stories around the National Football League is free agency starts next Wednesday. We go back to the Bucs. What do you want them to do? Carlton Davis Instagramming posts yesterday talking about getting a bag. I have no idea. I mean, this is where we're at in social media. We're looking for anything and everything to give us some type of clue. He was in a Buccaneer uniform. You would think he wants to be paid big time money. There may be a team out there that wants to pay him big time money. But the question is, should it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? In one case, I could see why you would want to pay him. Because when he's been able to stay healthy, he's been able to shut down top wide receivers, right? But he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Not consistently. So obviously, the Bucs are going to let him test the market. We'll see. Because the original thought process is, well, they're going to franchise Carlton Davis. Looks like that's not going to happen. It looks like it's going to be Chris Godwin. So do you have a problem with it? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Do we have some breaking news here? Hold on a sec. Looking at this right now. Nope. No breaking news at this point. So we'll be watching for it. And that deadline is tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So no matter how early that happens, we'll be here on the Sports Web live on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and Amped Up Sports. And I'm expecting something early. Say 7:30 in the morning. And once that happens, we'll get on the Sports Web. We'll announce it. I'm going to go back and play the comments, not tonight, but tomorrow, if that happens, on what Jason Light had to say about Chris Godwin. And I'm not going to fault him for it. Godwin definitely deserves to get paid. But I am not allowing Chris Godwin to get out into free agency. I am not allowing a team like Miami to overpay for him. Or for him to go out there and get money and leave this franchise as productive as he has been for this team. No way. This is business at the end of the day. You're still paying the guy $19 million. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Ridley just wanted out for a year. Well, he got his wish. He's out for a year. It's definitely disappointing when it comes down to it, because I always go back to this. What is your priority? Is your priority to be an NFL player, or is it to gamble? Why take the chance? Why put yourself in the situation? Why take your phone out in Florida on the Hard Rock app? I've gambled before on that when it was in effect and then it went out of effect. But you didn't think the NFL or somebody was going to check on that? Come on, man. And again, what's the priority? People will always say, well, you know, athlete has a right to live his life. He could be in a strip club at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Sure. Have at it. Go in a strip club. Make it rain. But let me tell you something. When you do something like that, it puts a big-time target on your back. Let's not be naive about this situation, okay? Let's not do that. Because everybody that supposedly is in your camp or a fan of you is not for you. They're more than likely trying to take you down in some way, especially in this social media world. They are. I hate to tell you. That's the reality of the situation. You put yourself in that situation. What's the priority? Obviously, he was having some mental problems. That's why he stayed away from the game. But then he's going to gamble on it. And then he's going to say, I don't have a problem. You know, $1,500, 3, 5, and 18 parlays. I think you got a problem, my friend. And now you got a big problem because you're out $11 million. Was it worth it? Hope it was. $1,500 for $11 million. Woo! Gotta love it. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Talked about that situation. Also, some rumors around the National Football League this weekend. Where is Aaron Rodgers going to land? Reports are that Green Bay is prepared to make him the highest paid player in the National Football League at 38 years old. What's the holdup? Well, we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Reports also put out there that there are 3 teams that could be wanting Rodgers to be their starting quarterback in 2022. And the list goes as follows. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Tennessee Titans, or the Denver Broncos. Who does he end up with? Does Aaron Rodgers stay in Green Bay? You know, if I'm Aaron Rodgers right now, I'm staying in Green Bay. I mean, it seems like they're going to franchise Devontae Adams at wide receiver. That's your biggest weapon. And also seems like reports state that they're going all in. Congratulations. Because that's exactly what the Packers have not done in the past. They've not gone all in. They're going to go all in. They're going to go out there and get as many players for Aaron Rodgers, as many players to help that defense out. They know the window is closing. Now, I don't know how they're going to be able to do this while also being able to pay Aaron Rodgers at least $50 million a year. That's the report. So, does he choose the Green Bay Packers? He got back with his girlfriend, reunited, and it feels so good. Is it with the Packers? What do you say? Should he go to another team? Should he go to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Are they a better team with Aaron Rodgers? I think any team is better with Aaron Rodgers besides the postseason, right? Tennessee Titans, I love that. And supposedly the rumor is that he has some house in Tennessee. So if that's true, if he is getting real estate in Tennessee, and that's a legitimate rumor, then you would have to say maybe the Titans. Tell you what, let's go on to the phone lines. Roger from Newport Richie, the tribal troll. Welcome to the evolution. What's on your mind?
All right. Well, first of all, Justin Fields, our franchise quarterback for your Chicago Bears. What's your thoughts on Luke Getsy being his new coach? Are you good with that? Great pick.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, again, I go back to it. 36 sacks when Justin Fields is behind an awful offensive line. You got to get healthy. That offensive line has to get better.
Our new GM, Ryan Poles, is going to fix that. So well, I have no doubt about that.
I mean, if you fix that and you do, take that pressure off of Justin Fields, I think you could definitely see some improvement.
I mean, this guy's been coaching Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. So,
well, you said the same thing about Matt Nagy. He was coaching Patrick Mahomes, and he was supposed to go in there and do some big things, and he didn't do it. So I don't know.
And how stupid are the Kansas City Chiefs that rehired him?
Well, it's a familiar league. They're familiar with him. They're comfortable with hiring him, and they like him in that spot. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's never been an offensive coordinator. So they're happy with that.
And he shouldn't have been a head coach either.
Well, that's your Chicago Bears making that decision. It's not mine. I mean, that's the way the NFL goes. I don't understand how we could sit here and talk about Matt Nagy and guys that were hired around the National Football League and not talk about a Todd Bowles, not talk about a Byron Leftwich, not talk about it.
You know what I think they need to get rid of is all of this coaching tree crap in the NFL.
Well, that's always going to be there. I'm sorry. That's just the way
I know, but I think it's overrated, and a lot of people get hired because of who they worked under. Oh, they worked under, so-and-so. Oh, they're going to be great. And then it turns out they suck, and, they're not what they were cracked up to be.
Well, I mean, it comes down to what? It's not what you know, it's who you know. Is that always the right
Well, this
thing?
is true.
I mean,
Absolutely, that's true.
This is the way the world is at this point, Honestly, it's who you know, not what you know. And obviously, some of these coaches, even a Brian Flores, I don't understand how he can't get a coaching job, but he doesn't have a coaching job in the National Football League. So
he's trash.
No, he's not trash. He's not. He was a good coach. He did a good job last year with all the turbulence and all the everything that was going on last year with the rumors of trading for a quarterback and having a terrible owner, trying to pay him $100,000. Come on. He's not a bad coach. He's not.
He should have took the money.
No, he shouldn't have taken the money. That's about the integrity of the league.
So what's your thought? I was listening in earlier, obviously, and thoughts on Calvin Ridley.
I mean, he should be suspended for a year. I mean, again, I think it's dumb. I think he's a dumbass, first and foremost, because it goes back to my whole point of emphasis when talking about these players off the field. What's the priority? Do you want to be an NFL wide receiver, or do you want to put yourself in a situation? You basically just took $1,500 and you tried to parlay that into $11 million, and you lost because of that $1,500 bet, $11 million. Congratulations. Great bet. Great bet.
Great education.
Terrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. So am I surprised the NFL took a stand on it? No, I'm not. I'm definitely not surprised that the NFL took a stand on it.
Okay, now here's my question on that subject.
Sure.
Okay, let's look at Pete Rose, banned for life from baseball for betting on his team.
Sure.
Supposedly.
Sure.
Should Calvin Ridley be banned for life from the NFL? Make an example like they did to Pete Rose.
I don't think it's going to happen. Not in the National Football League. I just think Major League Baseball is worse about it. And because Pete lied over and over again, that's why he got suspended. But, hold on a second. And
that's why Calvin Ridley admitted it. He knew he would only get 1 year.
But that's the thing. When Pete was asked about it, if he gambled on, his team, he denied it. He's a liar. They asked him over and over again. I always said Pete Rose deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, but with the constant lying, I felt like he didn't do anything that was worse, actually any worse than the PED users. In fact, the PED users are actually worse than somebody that's gambling on baseball. You know why? Because the PEDs are actually going to give you an advantage. And on top of it, they're going to corrupt the records that have been there 40 and 50 years. All right.
Well, betting on the team can corrupt the numbers just as well.
Yeah, to a
Because
certain
your team can tank.
to a certain degree if
By
you're
the
a
bet.
manager. Hold on a sec here. Harry, we got Roger on the line. We'll come out to you in a moment. Let me put you on hold. Roger, go ahead, and then we'll go out to Harry the Greek here. Go ahead, Roger.
All right, so yeah, basically, one last thing, your thoughts on the Bucks possibly franchising Godwin?
I mean, I have no problem with it. A lot of people are up in arms, and I get it. You know, you could have had a deal done in a year and a half, and they should have had a deal in a year and a half done, and there's no telling. They may have a deal done tonight or tomorrow before the deadline. But look, if I have to franchise a Chris Godwin over a Carlton Davis, I'll do it all day long, and I'll tell you why. Because first and foremost, I get it. You know, Davis gets hurt, Godwin gets hurt, but Godwin is more consistent. He's more important to this offense.
That was before the injury.
I still take him. I mean, ACLs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know modern technology and modern medicine is incredible, but I don't think that you should franchise tag him.
Well, I think you're
just so he can catch passes from Justin Fields.
Well, I think you look. I think
that's my ulterior motive.
Well, of course it is, and you would pay him the $19 million, wouldn't you?
I would, but the Bears, I don't think. I think the Bears might. I think that might be their big offside. You know,
any team would pay
their big signing.
Any team would pay Chris Godwin with the attitude he has and the production that he also has on the field, and what he's done off the field, while being just, you know, not a diva, not being an Antonio Brown type of player. You would pay him, and you look at these non-exclusive tags.
Peter, let me tell you this right now. It's been 35 years since the Bears won the Super Bowl. I'm done with off-the-field stuff. I could care less.
Well,
I won the Super Bowl.
You need to care about the off-the-field stuff, because the off-the-field
I could
stuff,
care less.
Look, if you get
I
player...
would take Antonio Brown if I could win the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what you get Antonio Brown.
I'd take Deshaun Watson if I could win the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, look, Deshaun Watson and Antonio Brown, I've gotten into the Watson situation. You know, people say it's allegations and civil. Yes, it is, but there's also 10 criminal complaints. So let's not treat this guy like, you know, he's going to be off the hook. And then at the end of the day, you know, are you going to bring that into your community? Those have to be the factors. Those are the kind of factors and the kind of things that are going to make your team go and win a Super Bowl. And taking an Antonio Brown, yeah, you may be good for a couple games, but as soon as you decide to not make him the focal point of the offense, or as soon as he decides, you know what, I don't want to play anymore, he's going to be canceled.
Hey, he was good for a season here. He got you a Super Bowl here.
Wasn't even a season, man. Wasn't even a season. It was like 8 games.
And BA tried to force him to play on an injured foot.
Oh, bullshit.
I saw the x-rays.
Bullshit.
I saw the x-rays, Peter. The world saw them. Come on,
that's
man.
Nonsense.
You saw the x-rays like everybody else.
That's nonsense. Because the guy
x-rays are not on nonsense.
The guy wanted to play, and the x-ray that he showed.
The x-rays are medical facts.
The x-ray that he showed was from a couple months earlier. How many games did the guy not play?
Oh, so
for
they
the
made him
Bucs?
play hurt more than just that game.
Play hurt. He played because he wanted to play. The game before, he had 100 yards, and nobody talked about his injury at all. And then as soon as he certainly wasn't getting the ball, which, by the way, was ridiculous, because the year before he got his incentives from Tom Brady. So I don't know where this guy was thinking. Oh, I do know what this guy was thinking. He was with a porn star. Not even call her a porn star at this point. An OnlyFans junkie that decided to get her clout by licking a toilet. And he told that licking toilet woman the night before that he was going to do something. Watch what he was going to do to his team. Come on, man. It was all premeditated. Come on. And then on top of it, you find out, everybody's like, well, you played the Bucs. They made him play on the injury. His agent and him wanted incentives. They wanted the incentives guaranteed. Why would you guarantee incentives to a guy that couldn't even stay on the field because he had a fake vaccination card? Come on, bro. Come on.
I'm not talking about his vaccination status. That's nobody's business. That's his own medical history. That's a violation of HIPAA laws.
It's not. It's the NFL's rule. It's not my rule. Everybody's
which the NFL has now gotten rid of.
Right,
so now basically Antonio Brown did nothing wrong.
Oh, please. He did something wrong. You fake a vaccination card. In society, it's a federal offense. What are you talking about, Roger? Come on, man. You're striking out tonight.
No,
it's
not actually.
It is a felony, my friend. It's a federal offense.
No, it's not actually.
It is. You cannot
do your research, Peter Blake.
I'm doing my research. I did research on this. You can go to jail for it. You go to prison. What are you talking about, man?
No, you can't.
You're striking out tonight, man. You're striking out bad.
I'm striking out. You struck out with Peter and with Harry and Leo. By the way, it was great to see the Greek. I'm glad he's back. I hope he feels better soon.
Me too. I hope he feels better soon too. And there was nothing to that at all for me. I mean, I felt like I was holding my own in that argument, and I agreed.
You got schooled, son.
Oh please.
You got schooled.
Oh please. You're a guy.
Schooled.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Schooled.
All right. Anything else there, Troll?
Hey, I hate to say it, but yeah, you did. This one time I'm going against the football god.
Oh, please. I'm like, I never said they shouldn't run the ball or be balanced, but to say BA is a terrible coach or, he's not a good, come on, man. He's a quarterback whisperer.
Hey, by the way, I want to give a quick shout out to a old friend of ours that returned to Policy Scout, Mr. John Martin.
That's right. You know who got him the job?
Peter Blake.
That's right.
Okay. So I
go.
hope he's tuned in. So John Martin, if you're out there, man, I'm glad you're back.
And we'll see what his Cowboys do because, of course, you got Amari Cooper.
Oh, they're going to do shit. Amari Cooper is going to be coming to the Bears with Chris Godwin.
Everybody's coming to the Bears, in your opinion, at this point. You're desperate to get a wide receiver, as you should be.
Hey, a man can dream.
All right, my friend.
All right, brother.
We'll go ahead and
have you have a good night. And I will talk to you in the morning.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Good stuff there. Roger Shue from Newport Richie, the Tribal Troll, firing it up tonight. Here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Come on, man. Let's get off the whole narrative that the Bucs made him play on an injury. Really? They made him play on an injury? The guy that's exiting the stadium, he's jumping up and down, doing jumping jacks. Oh, he's not running routes. He's running fine routes the week before. Nobody was saying anything at all. Come on. Come off of that crap. That's a bunch of crap. That's what that is. That's what that is right there. So again, Aaron Rodgers, now Russell Wilson. You hear a report this weekend that the Washington Commanders, which is still hard to say at this point, I'd rather call them the Washington football team, but whatever, made a substantial offer to Russell Wilson, and Washington didn't accept it. And of course, Seattle has come out lately, said they have no intention of trading Russell Wilson. What does that mean? No intention? Does that mean you can change your mind? Are the Bucs still in that conversation? Want to ask Harry the Greek. Plus 300, Kyle Trask is the starter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What does he think about it? What do you fans think about it? Fans are just quiet tonight. Shocking. Free agency is upon us, and you guys don't have anything to say. Nothing. Nothing about Godwin, nothing about free agency. Well, Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert hoping for Tom Brady to come back. Other news and notes around the NFL. And again, I want to go through these tags. Quarterback is getting $29 million a year to get franchised. Running backs, 9.5. Wide receivers, 18. So it's a little bit less. I heard it was 19.2. Let's see. Tight end 10, offensive line 16. Again, that's the thing with the Bucs. What are they going to do with the offensive line situation? Ali Marpet retired. Supposedly Ryan Jensen has interest from the Cincinnati Bengals. There's other teams out there. I mean, are you willing to pay the 31-year-old center top line money? We're talking about $13 million. Are you willing to pay him that? Or do you go with draft picks at that point? Do you go with the lesser option? I can't think of the draft picks name right now. Let's see here. Peter, there's also a report following night, club dancing on his tore up leg or ankle. That he was at the club dancing. Right, exactly. I mean, what is the narrative style? And I think that's just Roger trolling me. But you would be surprised. You know, when watching the HBO interview, it made him look like a complete ass with his attorney. And what you come to find out again is the reason why this was going on is he was trying to get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to guarantee his incentives. The Bucs are not making him play. They're not making anybody play. They're not saying you have to play. He was a part of the offense. They knew when Godwin was lost that they had to have him part of the offense. And when he wasn't getting the ball like he wanted to, he decided to make a stink about it at halftime. I believe that. That's what he's done throughout his career. So enough with the narrative of, well, the Bucs made him play. No, they didn't. You know, everything is not organizations or coaches or the other party's fault. You know, Antonio Brown has to look in the mirror. It's his fault. All this garbage that he's had, all this negativity garbage is because of Antonio Brown. And until that man looks himself in the mirror and admits that, he's never going to be able to get that help. And I can tell you right now, I don't think he's going to have an NFL job. I don't see how you could. How could you, if you're an NFL general manager or coach, believe in him? How could you look him in the eye and say, is he going to quit on me? Because he quit on a great team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He quit on a great franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers. He quit on the Raiders. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Going back to it, the tags here. Offensive line 16, defensive tackle 17, defensive end 17.8, linebacker 18, cornerback 17, safety 12, kicker and punter 5. Let's see here. BA told him to play or get out. He wanted him back in the game. He didn't force him to play. Stop. Stop with the whole garbage. All right, enough of that. Russell Wilson, no intention of him being traded, supposedly. Does he get traded to a team? Are the Bucs still in that conversation? I don't think so. I hate to say it. I'd like to sit here and tell you that the Bucs would have the money to make a deal, but at the end of the day, how much you got to give up? You have to give up 2 or 3 first-round picks. I'm not sure if they're going to do that. You know, maybe we've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe it has been Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask. That's the reason why you drafted him in the second round in the first place. Because you're going to develop him. Maybe BA wants his guy to develop. He is the quarterback whisperer. I don't know what to expect. I'm just like you. I'm waiting with bated breath. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. I'll bet you $100 he's in the NFL next season. I mean, I can't even take that bet because I'll tell you why. I'll come up here and say he won't be in the league. There'll be people out there that say he won't be in the league. There'll be a team out there that'll be desperate. That'll probably try to sign him. I don't see it, but I'm not going to take that bet. I'm sorry. I believe what I believe, but I'm not going to bet on it because you never know about the National Football League. Do you think we release Pinion? Possibility. You also saw the comments at the combine, and look, you take them with a grain of salt that there's going to be some kicking competition there, right? Ryan Suckup and Borgalis are going to compete. And Suckup is making lots of money at this point. So you're going to have some type of competition. That may be where you go. That may be an opportunity to redo a contract, if you will. That's where the Bucs have to get creative because right now, according to Over the Cap, they're only 2.7 under. So they have 2.7. So you're going to have to make some moves in order to have some money to pay some of these players. And again, I have confidence that Jason Light, Mike Greenberg of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be able to do that. Let's see here. So that may be a situation where you go with that. Trask will be the man, baby. We'll see. I don't hate it, but I will say if there are quarterbacks out there and the price is right, you know me, I'm about giving up picks. You're giving up a 27th pick. You feel like you can get a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers. I'm okay with that. I don't know about Jimmy Garoppolo. Carson Wentz may be out there for a trade. I'm not sure what they're going to do. That would be the Colts. Would that be somebody that you would think the Bucs are interested in? But, at the end of the day, we're kind of just spinning your wheels, right? Because nobody's going to be as good as Tom Brady. We know that. But I think the quarterbacks, some of the choices we've mentioned, would be probably a lot better than Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. But again, we'll see. We'll see what free agency holds at this point. So Russell Wilson, will he be traded? It looks like right now he's not, but who knows? Maybe there's a team out there. Washington could be desperate. Multiple first-round picks for Russell Wilson? Hell yeah. Tyler Heineke, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Obviously, they're not happy with him. You have an opportunity to get them, and then on top of it, you got to pay them. So that's the trouble with Tampa Bay this year. They got to free up lots of money. Lots of money. All right, why would you want Wentz? He gets injured all the time, and he's overrated. 27 touchdowns and 6 interceptions is overrated? Really? I mean, I get it. He played bad in some games last year, but let's not act like the Colts here, Tim, had all the weapons in the world. Put Carson Wentz with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in a good offensive line and somewhat of a good running game, and I think you would probably change your tune. I'm willing to take that chance. I don't think he's overrated at all. What is he, 2 years removed from an MVP type of season? I'm just saying. I mean, what do you want, Tim? Do you want to go with the Trask? Do you want to go with the Blaine Gabbert, who's never won in the league before? Is that where you want to go? At least I know Wentz has won in this league. He's had an MVP type of season before he got hurt. I mean, I'm opened up to those situations. At the end of the day, all of you want to see Tom Brady come back. Of course you do. We don't know if he's going to come back or not. Anybody you go with is probably a downgrade at this point because he is the greatest of all time, period. Deshaun Watson, to me, is out until he figures out the legal situation. And he, once again, has been linked with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are not happy with their quarterback situation. But I think there is a blueprint there. It's the Tom Brady blueprint that the Bucs put out. And now Matt Stafford with the Rams. So I'm not going to go ahead and buy this whole idea that there's not teams out there willing right now to trade for a quarterback that's going to get them over the top with giving up multiple draft picks, because we've seen it done before and it's worked out before. Carson Wentz, that guy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're going to have to trade multiple picks. That's what I'm looking at. He may come cheap. If he comes cheap and you don't have to give up the capital, absolutely. Why not? I get it, he gets injured. I get it, he had COVID and this and that and the other thing. Still pretty damn good young quarterback. And I think BA comparing him to Andrew Luck may be something. There may be something to that. So keep an open mind about it. That's all. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I'm cool with Trask if we can't get Watson. I don't know why you want Watson. I mean, everybody wants Watson. He's talented. He's talented on the field. What's the stuff off the field? What's that? I get it. The 22 allegations from women, not a big deal to a lot of people because it's civil, but there's 10 criminal complaints. And that's not going to be done until April. So are you willing, Tim, to sit there and wait for something that you know is not going to even materialize? And even if it does materialize, guess what? He's probably suspended 8 to 12 games. Are you waiting for that? Are you wanting that? Are you okay with that? I mean, it's been thrown out there. The reason why BA is talking up a Blaine Gabbert is because he actually believes that if they do trade for a Watson, which, by the way, you're going to have to trade multiple draft picks, 2 to 3 draft picks, and pay the guy. Are you willing to do that? I don't know if the Bucs are. But who knows? I'd rather have a Carson Wentz at that point because it's not going to cost you many draft picks, right? It's not going to cost you as much money, and you're not going to have the legal stuff off the field. I'm just saying, I get it. Any other conversation, Tim, that we were having, there would be no doubt at that point. Because Watson is talented on the field. He's a talented young quarterback. If he can get his stuff together, which is a big if. Because I don't know what the guy does off the field. I don't. I have no idea. And with everything that's come out in this offseason, with some of these players off the field, it's crazy. Calvin Ridley, Alvin Kamara. Again, go back to what I've talked about. It's a broken record. What is the priority? Do you want to be an NFL player, or do you want to put yourself in a situation where there's a possibility you could see some discipline? We know Roger Goodell loves that. Bucs should get Nick Foles. Jesus. Wow. All right, let's talk about your Tampa Bay Lightning, and we'll move on to hockey. If you guys want to get on the phone lines and talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks last night 6-3. They get down 2-1. They have all kinds of turnovers in that game. But get this, when they get down in games, they're actually 8-2 in that time period. 8-2. This was the sixth time in the past 10 games that the Lightning fell behind to start, but Tampa Bay is 8-2. They beat the Red Wings the other night. We had that covered. 3 power play goals. Going back to last night's game, Andre Vasilevsky, please, can somebody get this guy a Vezina trophy by now? I mean, seriously, some of the saves he made last night were amazing. 27 saves. That team played well last night, especially in the second and third period. Third period, 3 goals in 32 seconds. Defensemen last night were on fire. Victor Hedman, Cal Foote, and another defenseman that escapes me right now. And that's why they're so dangerous, the Tampa Bay Lightning, because they are so active with their defensemen. They're not guys that are just going to dump the puck. They're going to be very active. So that was impressive to see last night with this Tampa Bay Lightning team. The Lightning are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Watching a game from 2015, and Breeze was losing arm strength back then. Of course he was. Sergachev. There you go. There you go. Sergachev. Thank you, Tim. Sergachev and Victor Hedman and Cal Foote. And it's always encouraging to see guys step up. And at the end of the day, it's always the usual suspects with this team. Kucherov, Stamkos, Braden Point. Of course, you heard from John Cooper last night in the presser. He thought Tyler Johnson was going to score twice. The reason why he doesn't, because of Andre Vasilevsky and some of the saves he made last night. Amazing. His team is amazing. They can go as far as those core players will take them. Now, the key is, can they get enough contributions from those other lines? And you saw Corey Perry, who's played for the Dallas Stars, who's also played for the Montreal Canadiens, against the Lightning, trying to win a Stanley Cup, and now he's with the Lightning, and he's very productive. So that is the key right there. Can they get that production? Do they have as much depth as they've had over the years? No. You know why? Because they've had the salary cap. They've had the crunch where they've had to get rid of players. So that will be the interesting thing. But I think right now, with the way they're playing and the way they played without key players like a Kucherov and a Braden Point, has been impressive. This team goes as far as Vasilevsky takes them, period. And he is the best goalie in the National Hockey League, period. If you're Marc-Andre Fleury, you have to kind of miss Las Vegas a little bit, right? The defense last night, not very good. Not giving you any opportunity. 3 goals in 32 seconds in the third period. That's great to watch. And they're going on the road trip, and they need this. This is what they need. So we'll see what the Tampa Bay Lightning do here coming up. Let's see here. They always start out slow. They do, and they come back. Crazy. Free Cain Velasquez. We didn't even talk about that, did we? With that whole situation. I don't think we're going to get into that tonight. We'll get into that another time. Sergachev, it sucked being a Hawks fan. The cool thing is now we have a lot of young, skilled players who are doing great. Absolutely, you do. Absolutely. So, Cicerelli. Cirelli. What did I say Cicerelli for? I'm thinking of Dino Cicerelli. Tony Cirelli. Played well. I mean, they have a lot of players on this team. Radish scored last night. Sergachev, he scored. I mean, he's not a scorer, but lately he's been, putting the biscuit in the basket. That's good. That's impressive. That's what you need to do. Shoot the puck You give yourself the opportunity. When you do that, you never know what will happen. And that's what they did last night. Did a good job of that. Did a good job the other night versus the Red Wings. And we had you covered on AMP Sports. We had you covered for the press conference with players from the Lightning, with John Cooper. Thanks to the Tampa Bay Lightning organization for giving us that opportunity. That is the future of the sports web. I hate to tell you that's what it is. That's the play. The play is to be out at games like USF men's and USF women's and Tampa Bay Lightning and USF football and possibly the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the play. That's the future of the sports web. So keep on watching Amped Up Sports. Keep on liking and I Love St. Pete in the Hub. I didn't get the chance to say this tonight, but definitely go to betus.com if you're gambling on March Madness, if you're gambling on NBA, NHL, promo code TSW22. Again, TSW22, 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US. So there you go. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll see what happens with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, right now, everybody trying to figure out what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do when it comes to the franchise tag. Is it going to be Godwin? Is it going to be Carlton Davis? Is it going to be Ryan Jensen? Will it be somebody else? What kind of moves with the quarterback situation, Aaron Rodgers around the league? How does that affect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Keep it right here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and of course, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Thanks to our great guest, Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, and of course, Amped Up Sports, and the return of Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. I can tell you this, we have breaking news. Definitely keep it here on the Sports Web. 3 things here on this Monday night is it is about to get busy over the next couple of days. You ready? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time, and it's your time. Have a great night.
Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Merry Christmas. Say, I love football. Say this. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Tampa. Tampa. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. Say Tampa. Bay. Bay. Oh my God, she's so smart and she's so precious. I love her to death.
Yeah, every year presents different challenges, and you have to keep the cap in mind, obviously, that we're all up against. You don't want to mortgage too much of the future, and you want to remain competitive as long as you can. So I think ideally we'd like to keep the core players that we have, the very good players that we have, and they're all very good. And I don't want to name players because I don't want to leave any out, because they're all in one way, shape, or form a priority. But you want to try to keep as many as you can, and you want to, keep the pipeline coming from the players that we already have and give them opportunities. So, one door closes, another one opens. And so we feel like we have some players that could surprise some people next year if they're given the opportunity.
BetUS.com. If you guys are betting on the games, whether it's NFL, NCAA, of course, you're not going to do that now. Maybe basketball, not football, but of course, the NHL, NBA, go to BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus. And also, if you use this code right here, the promo code of TSW22, which, by the way, stands for the sports web, TSW22, or call that number 1-800-69-BET-US. Again, 1-800-69-BET-US, and put in that promo code TSW22, and I would really appreciate that.
I've had 27 beers spilt on me. Make that 28.
I've only got one place to go before the game.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS.com and get the best bonuses in the industry.